to the pan.
Good morning and welcome to the Live Exchange with Dr. Pamela. You are in for quite a show today. Just in light of all the things that are happening in the news and the media, we were going to talk about a very lighthearted relationship show, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I couldn't bring myself to talk about relationships, and we were going to look at does age matter and that kind of thing, but we're going to postpone that for another week. And this week we're going to be looking at some of these tragic shootings that have been happening with our black men, and I just felt it was really appropriate to address that. So that's what we're going to be talking about today on the Live Exchange, and I have a special guest. I have a couple of special guests today. I have Darrin Bell, who is a former police officer. A retired police officer, and we are also going to have Reverend Wesley, who's going to be here with us shortly. So please, I encourage you all, call in, chime in. We'd love to have you in on this conversation. The number is 678-613-5857, and you can join us on Facebook, or you can go to theliveexchange.com and listen in there. So we will be back, but definitely stay tuned. Share this with your friends. We'd like to get this conversation going on the Live Exchange.
Well, I finally did it. I opened a 401k.
What? Why? Just wait for the inheritance. We've definitely got a rich uncle somewhere. We're one call away from the winner's circle at the Derby, dinners with multiple forks, a vacation home in the country, using summer as a verb.
You don't actually think that, do you?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs, the Georgia Society of CPAs, and the Ad Council.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
I hate religion. Pretty shocking to hear coming from a pastor, huh? I'm Jasper. This is my wife, Alicia Williams. We would absolutely love to have you come and take a visit.
At the church, we're strictly about relationships. It's about deepening your walk with God. 4845 South Old Peachtree Road, Norcross, Georgia.
Or you can hit us online at www.thechurchinfo.org. Remember, at the church, it's about relationship, not religion.
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win the Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
Former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
At the end of my 6th year, I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, get to the playoffs, but get knocked out again. And for the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? But I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it. And it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ, and He guides us to that ultimate victory. I'm Tony Dungy, and I am second.
Vince Lombardi once said that it's hard to be aggressive when you're confused. Some of us think that taking our lives to the next level, both personally and professionally, is a confusing and complicated process. Guess what? It's not, and I can prove it. My book, Truisms, will show you how living your life by rules that are so self-evident and obvious, you'll say, I knew that. This powerful yet short, detailed bestseller is on sale right now, under $10. Go to michaelmcfadden.com. That's michaelmcfadden.com, and let Truisms help you to the next level.
Hey parents, finding it hard to communicate with kids in today's world of ever-changing slang?
Hi, son.
Excuse me?
Introducing the Communicizer. Just strap non-toxic Communicizer to your mouth and go from boring old man speak,
oh, you know, I'm here if you want to talk,
to 100% off the chain.
Text me whatever, yo.
It's that easy.
Thanks to Communicizer, I'm relevant to my kids again. I mean, I'm fly, boo.
And now when you buy Communicizer, you get the auto-tune attachment free. Sounds so hip-hop, your kids will want to talk to you for hours.
I used to have to walk 3 miles uphill to school every morning, Shorty.
I love you, Dad.
I love you too, son.
Communicizer is not available in stores because it doesn't exist. But that's okay. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Because kids in foster care don't need perfection. They need you. For more information on how you can adopt, go to adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt Us Kids, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and I have here with me Darrin Bell, retired police officer. How are you doing today?
Always good. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for joining me.
Anytime.
I love people who are flexible and who can just kind of switch up on a whim. Today we are talking about, and the reason why, because I originally asked him to speak on a different topic, but he happens to have some expertise on what's going on with the police shooting. Well, just in general, when black men get shot by police officers. He is a retired police officer, so he has a very interesting perspective on all of this, and so definitely wanted to bring that conversation to the table. If you all are interested in engaging in this conversation, give us a call, 678-613-5857. Would love to hear what you have to say. I know there's a lot of emotion, a lot of anger, a lot going on right now, and for those of you who haven't heard, I don't know where you've been, but the first situation that rose in the media yesterday, but it happened early the morning before, I believe, was Alton Sterling in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and he was shot by police. He was selling CDs in front of the store. I heard that there was a call, a 911 call, that police were responding to, that somebody was threatening people with a gun. I don't know if that's
right.
still...
That's pretty much what's being said.
Okay. And they responded. They had him, from the video that was shown, they had him constrained or restrained, or is it constrained? And he, and they shot him in the back, in the chest.
In the chest.
Several times.
Several times.
Yeah. So I would love to, I'm talking a lot. I want to hear your...
Well, and she said, I'm a retired sheriff, and I actually trained sheriffs for 15 years, and I watched the video, and I didn't post anything, because I always tell people, no matter what the video says, give it a week or two, let all the facts come out. There was just, I saw the video, I saw 2 videos, and I just didn't see anything that I could latch on to say that they may have even been close to being right. Mm-hmm. My issue is, as a black man and as a cop, because I do look at it differently, what were they trained to do? Because had they been to one of my classes, everything they did from the moment they got out of the car was wrong.
Well, can you lay that out?
Okay, theoretically, if I'm told that there's a person with a gun where we're going, one, there's got to be 2 of us. That's just a standard rule. Mm-hmm. There's a gun. We don't know why. We know there's a gun. When you approach somebody and you know they have a gun, all police cars have microphones in them. We never get out the car until we address this person, because we want him to stand up. If he's got a gun, put it on the trunk, put it somewhere else, and then come back to us.
Okay.
You never approach a person with a gun because you don't know where it is.
Right.
And I never saw that part. They walked up on him, which, okay, if that's the theory you want to go to, one person take the left, one person take the right. That way you can divide his body in half. My partner got his left arm, I got his right arm. We can control him. There were just so many things they did wrong from the onset. I don't know what they're trying to do. And that's my biggest issue as a professional. Is this what New Orleans trains them to do? Then it becomes a departmental issue. Okay. Or is it just something where they just violate the law on their own? Because some of the laws are pretty specific. And I tell people, there are times when you can actually harm the police when they violate a rule because they become the aggressors. In Georgia, there's a law that says, if I'm making an illegal arrest, once I hit you with the handcuffs, I committed assault. And the fact that you know that I have a gun means that you have the right to shoot me, whether I ever touch my gun or not. But the fact that I'm trying to make an illegal arrest and I hit you first, it's a Georgia law. These guys did a lot wrong. The slamming, the shooting happened when he was on top of the guy, which is where they totally lost me.
Yeah.
You can't handcuff a man if he's on his back because you can't put his hands behind his back.
Right.
But he was laying there with two of y'all. You lost me. If you're on the ground, yeah, the rules change. If I'm a cop and you knock me on the ground, the rules say I'm at a different level of fear because you have an advantage on me because you're up. But they were up, and he shot the guy.
Wow,
he shot the guy several times.
So here, at one point in that video, they're saying, he's got a gun, and I don't know, I wasn't clear on who shouted that out. Was it the bystanders? Was it the
that's
officer?
totally inconsequential. The call was he had a gun, so it wasn't like the gun was a surprise issue.
And that's what I was getting at. So that's what I was getting at, because if the officers yelled out, he's got a gun, well, that shouldn't have been a surprise, because that was what the call was about.
That's what the call was about. So that was... It's window dressing.
I just think I'm just wondering, and I'm a conspiracy theorist, so I'm just wondering if the quote unquote or supposedly the cameras fell off, the body cameras fell off of both of the officers,
right?
Supposedly, and I'm just wondering, shouting out he's got a gun, is that a way of justifying? Are you that aware in the moment to say he's got a gun so that I can justify what I'm about to do to this man?
Absolutely. Part of the training process is when you see things, you yell loud enough for everybody to hear you, because everybody won't see what you see.
Right.
So we teach officers all the time, two purposes: yell for crowd so that people know what's going on, two, so that you should breathe. Because under stress, a lot of us will start breathing. But yeah, you yell these things out. He's got a gun, just in case. If I see the gun and my partner doesn't, I'm letting my partner know that I've made visual. I see a gun now. We've been told there's a gun. Now we yell it out. One of us, it's affirmative. We know that there's a gun, which means you kind of change your mindset. But at the point when this all was being yelled out, they were already in over-aggressive mode.
Right.
The fight is already on. So you're in a fight. So the gun
should
plays
have been
a part. You're already in a fight.
Yeah.
A gun coming out there.
That should have been addressed long before.
Well, you can't stop the fight once there's a gun. So it just needs to. But he was on the ground when he got shot. He wasn't up. He wasn't moving around. He was laying there.
See, and and that just brings up a whole other thing about this whole concealed carry, which is illegal, which is
it's always
right
illegal
to do it. But
it's stupid.
Who benefits? We're going to talk about that when we get back. So, so stay tuned. Like I said, if you want to get involved in this conversation, 678-613-5857. We'll be right back on the Live Exchange.
Hi, I'm Harold Dennis, and I'm running for the office of DeKalb County Sheriff. I believe that there is a brighter future for DeKalb County, and as your sheriff, I will take a tough stance against those who choose to violate our laws and remain actively involved in building a rapport with our youth, which will combat the increasingly violent crimes committed by their peers. This will increase the value of our community in which I was proudly born and raised, allow me the opportunity to continue my philosophy of public service and building a sound and responsive sheriff's office. Harold Dennis, vote for me November 8th for DeKalb County Sheriff. And let's take DeKalb back. I'm Harold Dennis, and I approve this message.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
I hate religion. Pretty shocking to hear coming from a pastor, huh? I'm Jasper. This is my wife, Alicia Williams. We would absolutely love to have you come and take a visit.
At the church, we're strictly about relationships. It's about deepening your walk with God. 4845 South Old Peachtree Road, Norcross, Georgia.
Or you can hit us online at www.thechurchinfo.org. Remember, at the church, it's about relationship, not religion.
JBT 700 Miami Circle 30324. It's not a chain, it's a chain reaction.
Invest $49 a month at a real gym.
For more info, go to facebook.com/Jeans Body Tech.
I am an American soldier. I'm a warrior and a member of a team. I serve the people of the United States and live.
accept defeat.
I will never quit.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
I am disciplined.
I am disciplined. Physically and mentally tough.
Trained and proficient in my warrior tasks and drills.
I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the
Enemies of the United States of America in close combat.
I am a guardian of freedom and the American way of life.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
There's strong, and there's Army Strong. See what it takes at GoArmy.com. Hey parents, finding it hard to communicate with kids in today's world of ever-changing slang?
Hi, son.
Excuse me?
Introducing the Communicizer. Just strap non-toxic Communicizer to your mouth and go from boring old man speak,
I'm here if you want to talk.
to 100% off the chain.
Text me whenever, yo.
It's that easy.
Thanks to Communicizer, I'm relevant to my kids again. A fly, boo.
And now when you buy Communicizer, you get the auto-tune attachment free. Sounds so hip-hop, your kids will want to talk to you for hours.
I used to have to walk 3 miles uphill to school every morning, short day.
I love you, Dad.
I love you too, son.
Communicizer is not available in stores because it doesn't exist. But that's okay. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Because kids in foster care don't need perfection. They need you. For more information on how you can adopt, go to adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Adopt Us Kids and the Ad Council.
Primary election. Lack of diversity. Ash prices.
Michael Jackson. Trending topics.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and I have here with me Darrin, and he is a retired police officer, and we're looking at some of the what's going on in the headlines. And as you know, two of the biggest trending topics happening right now is regarding the death of Alton Sterling, who was shot by police in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And just last night, not even 24 hours ago, another shooting by Minnesota police of Philando Castile. And we're going to look at both of these situations, and the one with both of them recorded, both of them on, recorded on Facebook. The latest one with Philando Castile recorded on Facebook Live by his girlfriend as it was unfolding. Very graphic, but, and I am not a fan of seeing graphic videos and that kind of thing, but you know what, this kind of stuff needs to be put out there, because when it's not put out there, we don't understand how serious this really is. I've heard people say, oh gosh, these shootings have started up again, or this is starting up again, or it's happening again. And you know what? These things have been happening. We don't always get them on video, but this is not something that happened for a little while back in the 60s, and then it stopped, and it came back in the 80s and the 90s and stopped and came back. This is something that has been ongoing over time. So we have a question on Facebook that I would love for Darrin to address with us. Jennifer Glaze has asked, as an officer and a black man, I would like to gain some insight on how he feels individuals should conduct themselves when stopped by the police. So what are your thoughts on that?
Regardless as to why they stop you, and I tell people this, it doesn't matter how you feel about cops. When you get pulled over, they have the right of way. They got the lights, they got the uniform, they got the ability to lock you up. No matter what you feel, stop and give them that. You can't win in that situation. If you think they're wrong, I tell people, cut your phones on. Most people got a phone that'll record. Cut your phones on, let your window down, cut your stereo down, and put your hands on the steering wheel. You're getting a lot of stuff. I tell people one of the craziest stops I ever made was a guy. He was speeding, and I was going to give him a warning. But he was playing F the Police by NWA, and he felt the need to cut it up. Oh. So he went from a warning to actually going to jail over something. And technically, I probably did abuse a little of my authority. But that was just pure stupidity. But, I got a right to do this. The Constitution doesn't say you can be stupid. 9 times out of 10, the police pull you over, you did something. There are lots of crazy laws out there you may not know about. Give him his 5 minutes of time. Most people can tell a story when a cop pulled them over. They were polite. The cop told them to have a nice day. Because most of the time, we don't want to get out. We're scared. You know what's in the car.
Terrified.
We don't. No, the cops are terrified.
Cops. Okay, well, I was going to say, we're terrified, too.
You're in a chamber where you may or may not have a gun. I can't tell that from my car. Mm-hmm. We don't want this encounter to last any longer than it has to. But when we get aggressive tendencies, and that's what people don't want to understand about cops, we are all scared because we never know what we're walking into. Mm-hmm. When you pull a car over, you don't know if that guy just killed somebody. You don't know if he just robbed the bank. All you know is he crossed the center line, he ran a stop sign, he's speeding. You don't know what else is going on in his mind. So we have a fear. And so when people say, if you're scared, you shouldn't be a cop. Well, that's just because you're not a cop, and that's pure stupidity.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't agree with that statement.
So when you get pulled over, like I say, let your window down, especially if you got this dark tint. Put your hands on the steering wheel. If you need to get anything, get it before the cop gets there. You know what he's going to ask you for. They all ask for the same thing: license, proof of insurance, or some kind of registration.
Okay, but you did hear this case with Philando Castile, right?
I did.
And this is the situation in which the girlfriend was videotaping after the fact, after he was shot, and she said that he was asked to reach to get his license. He pointed out or explained to the cop that he does have a concealed weapon,
right?
And which again is his right. And as he reached into his pocket, the police officer, sounds like he panicked, shot the man 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 4 to 6 times in the arm, and he was following protocol. Even the girlfriend, her level of calm, to me, makes me believe that they were probably pretty calm through the process before the shooting.
And again, as a professional, the law is clear. If I stop you for doing something, I can address the driver of the car. I'm trying to figure out why he even dealt with the passenger.
Well, that was my question.
There's no law that a passenger in a vehicle has to have any idea or anything, unless I think they're involved in a crime. Legally, I don't even have a right to talk to them.
That's why I was wondering why with a police officer on the other side.
So I'm kind of confused, which is why I said I want to wait for the rest of this to come out, because why was he even over there? He wasn't driving the vehicle. When you make a traffic stop, it's because the vehicle did something illegal.
And he said it was she said it was for a tail light.
What's a tail light? So why was he even addressing the driver? See, and that's where I haven't made any real thoughts on that. I'm kind of confused. Why were you over there? Even with the shooting, and this is me being totally pro cop. You're taught double tap, so I'm lost on the 4 shots.
What's double tap?
Double tap is when you feel a threat. We teach double tap. 2 shots, mm-hmm. 2 shots, 2 shots. I'm trying to figure out how he got 4 in. Even if you were scared the guy was reaching for his gun, how did you get 4 shots in? That's not your training. Your training is to get 2, assess the situation. If the threat is still coming, 2 more. Everything is done in groups of 2s. That's pretty much the standard training for all cops.
Is the double tap shoot to kill, shoot to disable? What's?
Okay, it's always shoot to stop.
Okay.
There's no shoot to kill theory.
There's no shoot to kill, even when your life is threatened.
If your life is threatened, and let me just give you quick dynamics. If your life is threatened, 1, under stress, you lose fine motor skills. Shooting to kill theory is hitting a small body part. There's no way with your adrenaline going, you can even get an aim in to try to hit somebody in the head. When people get shot in the head, 9 times out of 9, it's pure luck. It's just pure luck. Get a water pistol and try to shoot your kid moving. The arm or leg that they see on TV, that'll never happen. You're going to go for the biggest part because you're under stress.
Right.
You're under stress. You're already scared. So trying to aim at something, that's why we teach body cavity shots.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
I know it's a lot.
No, but this is good. I mean, we really need this information because we hear it and we see it from our perspective, and it's really good to hear the kind of training that they're given. So, but we're going to come back again. I want you to stay tuned. Give us a call, 678-613-5857. That's 678-613-5857 on the Live Exchange.
You want to see who's in the network?
Don't be jealous that I've been chatting online with babes all day.
Follow us on Instagram at Sensation Station Network. We're the nation's urban station. Radio, not dumbed down.
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win a Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
Didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? but I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it, and it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ, and He guide us to that ultimate victory. I'm Tony Dungy, and I am second.
Great leaders aren't born, they're made. And not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
Are you thinking about getting your GED diploma? Well, here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we've got a number of pep talks that can motivate you.
Sometimes things don't always turn out the way you want them to.
You know that feeling? People look at you and don't believe in you.
You want some gentle encouragement. Then you're on your way to your GED diploma and a better life.
But I know they're probably just a little bit nervous. You can find it in yourself to take that first step.
Free GED classes in your area. GED is a registered trademark of the American Council on Education. Brought to you by Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
I hate religion. Pretty shocking to hear coming from a pastor, huh? I'm Jasper. This is my wife, Alicia Williams. We would absolutely love to have you come and take a visit.
At the church, we're strictly about relationships. It's about deepening your walk with God. 4845 South Old Peachtree Road, Norcross, Georgia.
Or you can hit us online at www.thechurchinfo.org. Remember, at the church, it's about relationship, not religion.
In the interest of science. Science.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. We are looking at the whole idea of just police shootings and African American men getting killed and all of that. And so I wanted to give you a little bit of science and research behind how we're responding and how this is having an impact on the Black community in particular. And the reason is because one of the things that I've seen a lot of posts of anger, of frustration. There was a woman this morning who did a Facebook Live just in tears and devastated and tired, just exhausted, just tired. And so there is actually terminology behind this feeling of exhaustion and this trauma that we're experiencing, and it's called racial battle fatigue. I don't know how many of you have heard of it, but racial battle fatigue is very similar to the kind of pressures soldiers face on the battlefield that can follow them home. So you experience something, but it stays with you after the fact. So African Americans who face chronic exposure to racial discrimination may have an increased likelihood of suffering a race-based battle fatigue, according to Penn State researchers. African Americans who reported in a survey that they experienced more instances of racial discrimination had significantly higher odds of suffering generalized anxiety disorder sometime during their lives, according to Jose Soto, assistant professor of psychology. So generalized anxiety disorder has both psychological and physical symptoms that are so severe that they can significantly affect everyday tasks and job performance. So it has that impact. It has that same physical effect that that depression can have on somebody. It affects the body. It affects the mind. It's an extra level of pressure added onto whatever else that we're addressing and we're dealing with on an everyday basis. On African Americans surveyed, more than 40% reported that they experienced some form of racial discrimination, and approximately 4.5% reported suffering from general anxiety disorder. And 39% of Afro-Caribbeans reported examples of racial discrimination, but only 2.69% had ever developed general anxiety disorder. So the experience of racial discrimination was not necessarily associated with general anxiety disorder for Afro-Caribbeans, but for African Americans, absolutely. So this is so this is basically the idea that everybody's talking about. They feel extra stressed. They feel this extra pressure. It is a very real thing. It is something that we have to think about in terms of our own self-care. We're taking in all of these images. We're taking in acts of violence in a way that we never have in America. I mean, well, in our media history before, I should say, because these are things that were not shown before. I was actually kind of surprised that they showed the video of him being shot on CNN, but I guess by that time it had already been all over Facebook. And I commend Facebook for not taking it down. They put up a warning, but they didn't take it down. And I do appreciate that, because, again, I believe that this is something that we need to know is happening. I'm pausing so you can say something.
Okay, and this is me as a person. I have a problem with them showing death videos. It's disrespectful to the family. Why should it keep going on and on? I got a problem with CNN. I got a problem with people who are posting it. Yep. Would you post a rape? No, you wouldn't, because but to me, that's we're not sensitive to these issues. Yeah. And this is my issue with us as a people. And white people do it. Please believe. But we talk about killing all the time. We kill people over shoes. We kill people over this. We glorify it, and then we say, "Oh, we're victims." Well, how can you be a victim when I'm riding down the street? You listen to F the police, but you're traumatized when I come to your car because you think I may kill you. But,
well, in all fairness, I don't know if that's always the same population. You know,
right? But it's the same grouping. It's like what your mom tell you. Be careful who you hang with. Mm-hmm. When I pull people over, I'm sure there's some people in the car innocent, but you're hanging with guilty people. We don't come with signs. So when one minute we want to be kings, the next minute we want to be victims. We have to pick and choose a battle. We can't pick and choose based on our situation, and that's where I fault us as a group, because we're soldiers. Until everybody's a soldier until it's time to fight. Then everybody got to go to work, and that's my issue with us as a group. If we're gonna do something. I was in one group, and it's like, well, let's boycott this place, to show we're standing. Well, one of the places you want to boycott is Home Depot. And I don't care anything about Arthur Blanks, but when the snowstorm hit, Arthur Blanks opened up all the Home Depots. Mm-hmm. So I do have an issue with that. He reached out for no reason to open up Home Depots, but now you want to... So when we fight about stuff, what is it we really fighting about other than, so yeah, I did something, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. Let's take a real stand. Let's become united as people first, and then we can do it. Why isn't it as prevalent in other races? Because they don't degrade each other publicly like we do. Asians get killed, white people get killed, every race gets killed, but we're the only race that glorifies it amongst us. And remember the cop in California who was raping the women? Mm-hmm. Did you hear what the victim said?
No.
We didn't think anybody would listen. No other cops knew he was doing all of this. He picked his victims based on their mentality. We don't figure nobody cares. And that's how we have become as a race. We don't figure nobody cares. 4 times I've been to GBI because somebody gave me some information about corrupt cops. So a lot of these things can be handled, but we'll set up a stereotype, we'll believe it, and we'll try to reinforce it when it doesn't even exist. Kings, or you're not going to fight.
And I think part of the challenge is people are stuck. People don't know what to do. People are challenged. And, we have a lot of questions coming up I see on Facebook. And we're really behind. But give us a call, too. We'd love to hear. I know some of you are sitting at work and you probably can't pick up the phone, so I do appreciate your engagement on Facebook. But give us a call, 678-613-5857. And we had a question from one of the guests. I believe it was Fullwood.
I'm looking at his now.
Okay, go ahead and reiterate his question.
One of the biggest things with training...
But make sure you reiterate it so they know what he's asked.
The question is, well, let's see. He says, I'm sure he has gained many valuable lessons on the job during the course of his career. What does he believe should be added or taken away to all police officers' training? The biggest thing that should be added is live role playing. When you can live role play, and a lot of agencies don't like this. When we do live role playing, I'm the perfect bad guy. I get to use every terminology I want to put you under stress. And no matter how much you know this is coming, you see what officers are made out of. It filtered out a lot of officers, which meant departments ended up having people being short. I've stressed people to the point where in role-playing scenarios, they wanted to shoot me for something that was not a shootable offense. Now when I do my evaluation, I have to check. This candidate is not officer material.
Right.
Because of this. Agencies didn't like that. People then complain, we don't have enough officers, but I'm telling you, based on the training in a controlled environment, this person cannot handle stress. This is a controlled environment, and they are panicking. Why would you put them on the street? Agencies don't want to hear that. That's the biggest thing that should be added. More verbal judo. You can't get away from the active role playing.
Right.
That's the biggest thing I think that should be added to it. You got to have, and it needs to be filmed so you can see why I'm saying this officer's not good at this. Because there's some officers who handle everything I did perfectly. They never got upset. They maintained their professionalism. They didn't do anything crazy. We put them in life or death situations. Some won't do anything until a whole group of officers get there, which is the correct response.
Yeah.
If you're overwhelmed, wait for backup.
Well, we have more of that coming, but when we get back, we're going to go into the balance challenge.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
I hate religion. Pretty shocking to hear coming from a pastor, huh? I'm Jasper, and this is my wife, Alicia Williams. We would absolutely love to have you come and take a visit.
At the church, we're strictly about relationships. It's about deepening your walk with God. 4845 South Old Peachtree Road, Norcross, Georgia.
Or you can hit us online at www.thechurchinfo.org. Remember, at the church, it's about relationship, not religion.
Hi, I'm Harold Dennis, and I'm running for the office of DeKalb County Sheriff. I believe that there is a brighter future for DeKalb County, and as your sheriff, I will take a tough stance against those who choose to violate our laws and remain actively involved in building a rapport with our youth, which will combat the increasingly violent crimes committed by their peers. This will increase the value of our community in which I was proudly born and raised, allowed me the opportunity to continue my philosophy of public service and building a sound and responsive sheriff's office. Harold Dennis. Vote for me November 8th for DeKalb County Sheriff. Then let's take DeKalb back. I'm Harold Dennis, and I approve this message.
Do you have student loans and are worried about making your payments? Stop worrying. Now, Direct Student Aid can help you if you are behind, if you are late, or even if you are in default on your student loans. We can help cut your payments fast. We provide student loan relief, getting you relief from your student loans right away. We will stop any harassing phone calls, stop any wage garnishments, and even remove any tax liens. No matter how much you owe or how far behind you are with payments, call our established Direct Student Aid toll-free assistance line right now. We can fix your student loan problems guaranteed. That's right. We guarantee we will get your student loan out of default and cut your payments right away. We have helped thousands of people just like you fix their student loans. Best of all, it's 100% guaranteed. Don't go another day with your loans behind or in default. Our specialists are waiting for your call. Call 866-855-6516. That's 866-855-6516. Again, call 866-855-6516. That's 866-855-6516.
Keeping your balance with Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela.
Hi, welcome back to Live Exchange. So this week's balance challenge is going to be related to this whole idea of racial battle fatigue. And I want you all to think about how you're feeling, how you're responding emotionally, physically to this particular situation. I know people who are feeling physically sick, emotionally sick, disgusted, angry, and I want you to be very conscious of how this is having an impact on your physical and your mental well-being. And with that said, this week, I want you to find a way to take care of yourself. I know that it's hard. I know that, we're torn between, do we fight? How do we respond to this? And so, yes, we definitely want to address the issue. We want to address the problem. We don't want to ignore it, but we also need to take care of ourselves. So what do you need to do to take care of yourself? For me, running helps. When I run, whatever is built and bottled up, I'm able to, just kind of release a lot of that. So whatever it is that's going to help you, that's healthy, is what I want you to do this week as a way of decompressing, as a way of taking care of yourself, because the only way we can go into battle, if we need to go into battle, is with our healthy selves. If we are broken down mentally, physically, emotionally, we're not going to be of sound mind. We're not going to be able to have an effective battle. So take care of yourself, and that's my challenge for you this week.
Now we come to the special feature of our program.
Sensation Station Network. If you're looking for that ratchet, you're in the wrong place. It's the nation's urban internet station, Sensation Station Network.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and I have two guests here with me today. I have retired police officer Darrin Bell, and we have just joined us is Reverend Wesley Thompson. And they both have some really helpful information and insights that, may help us kind of process all of this information, all this, pretty awful news that we've received over the last 48 hours. So I am going to give Wesley an opportunity to just quickly introduce himself so that we all can know who it is at the table.
Yes, so my name is Wesley Thompson. First of all, thank you, Dr. Pamela, for this invitation. Glad to be here. Unfortunately, not happy to be here about what we're talking about today, but however, I'm glad that you are willing to discuss it because it definitely needs to be discussed. But just a little bit about myself. I'm youth pastor here in the Atlanta area, New Calvary Missionary Baptist Church, southwest side of town. Very familiar with Mercer University, where I worked as a missions representative. Also got my Master of Divinity degree. That's why I'm here in the Atlanta area. And 27 years old, married, recently just had our son back in December who was 7 months. So I'm very passionate about topics such as this. As a young black man in America, it affects myself, affects my colleagues, my fellow brothers, many friends, and both black and white and of other ethnicities. So looking forward to this discussion on today.
All right. And Darrin Bell, if you wouldn't mind just giving everybody who's just joining us a little bit of who you are and what you have to contribute.
I am Darrin Bell. I'm a Grady baby, which means I'm local. I was a deputy sheriff for Fulton County for 22 years, and I grew up in the hood, which is my perspective. That's why I can address these as a black man from the hood and as a cop.
All right. All right. Well, I appreciate you all joining us. We have quite a few questions coming through Facebook, and one of the questions that Darrin just addressed was whether or not there were different things that could be added to police training in order to better address some of these situations that happen, and he recommended definitely more of the role playing and the live scenario, which I've heard that one of a close friend of mine deals with safety. Dr. Stoney Shepard, she deals with safety, and she said that's the most effective means that they have for training as well, simulations. So, but another question has come up. Benita Rainey, I always call you Ramsey, but Benita Rainey is asking if we can speak to how watching these videos or seeing videos like these may cause people to become desensitized. And I'll let either one of you, jump in on that.
I don't think it's causing black people to become desensitized. I think it's causing us to become more in an uproar every time we see one of these. I will say, of course, I'm not speaking as a whole. I think it may make some of our counterparts, racial counterparts, desensitized. Not all of them, but this is something that is not a black issue. It's an American issue. Yet, it's only one portion of America that's really, with a loud voice, speaking up on it, and that portion happens to be the ones who are victim or are the victims of it. These images, I tell you this, yesterday morning when I woke up and I saw what happened to Alvin Sterling, I was upset. Honestly, it can be kind of desensitizing in your mind as far as the thought, oh, another one. And of course, throughout the day, watching the media coverage, just becoming more and more angry, especially last night when the second video came out.
Which was much more graphic.
Very, very. Yeah, actually, the second video, the first video, because I've always been one not to quickly judge. The first video, because the car kind of only gave you half of what was going on. I was upset, but I was like, okay, let me see what they come out with. Then the second video, there was no doubt, okay, we should be upset. Then you wake up this morning. You know, I actually turn on the news because a lot of people ask me, what do you watch on TV? My TV is either on CNN or Sports Center, either one. Yes,
yeah, mine too.
So I turn on the news to CNN actually to watch if there are any updates about Alvin Sterling. And then I wake up to this about a young man in Minnesota, and it just took me over.
Whose name is Philando Castile. We haven't even gotten into that one yet. Right. But yeah.
Another name, another hashtag, 2 consecutive days,
right?
Which we have not been used to. I mean, whether it's Trayvon Martin or Tamir Rice or Michael Brown or Eric Gardner, Freddie Gray, all those, of course, there was some space in between for us to, try to handle our emotions. But 2 days in a row,
back.
Yes.
Well, yes, and we're going to keep talking about this. Again, give us a call, 678-613-5857, 678-613-5857 on the Live Exchange. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Harold Dennis, and I'm running for the office of DeKalb County Sheriff. I believe that there is a brighter future for DeKalb County, and as your sheriff, I will take a tough stance against those who choose to violate our laws and remain actively involved in building a rapport with our youth, which will combat the increasingly violent crimes committed by their peers. This will increase the value of our community in which I was proudly born and raised, allow me the opportunity to continue my philosophy of public service and building a sound and responsive sheriff's office. Harold Dennis, vote for me November 8th for DeKalb County Sheriff. And let's take DeKalb back. I'm Harold Dennis, and I approve this message.
Are you thinking about getting your GED diploma? Well, here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we've got a number of pep talks that can motivate you.
Sometimes things don't always turn out the way you want them to.
You know that feeling? People look at you and don't believe in you.
You want some gentle encouragement. Then you're on your way to your GED diploma and a better life.
But I know they're probably just a little bit nervous. You can find it in yourself to take that first step.
You can improve your future. You can do this. I know you can.
You need to start pushing yourself.
Now get your game face on and take the first step towards a better life. Hurry up. Don't make me repeat myself.
Whatever level of motivation you need to get your GED diploma, we've got a pep talk that's right for you. Call 1-877-38-YOUR-GED or visit yourged.org for your pep talk and find free GED classes in your area. GED is a registered trademark of the American Council on Education. Brought to you by Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Did you know volunteering can be fun? Community service is for everyone. Young people, families, men, women. As a volunteer, you'll help your community and gain valuable skills. Network with others. Energize your life. Make an impact and have fun. Get in step with your community. Volunteer. Visit www.lionsclubs.org.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
Station Network.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and I have here with me retired police officer or sheriff? Because I heard you use
retired
both.
Deputy Sheriff.
Okay, Deputy Sheriff, and Darrin Bell, and then we also have Reverend Wesley Thompson, who's here, and we're just talking about this whole issue of, and I use the term black and blue because it's the whole idea of police officers and black men. And some of the ways that that doesn't always go well. And so specifically we're looking at these two cases that came up over the last 48 hours with Alton Sterling and Philando Castile. One of the questions that came up from one of our guests was whether or not one of our listeners was whether or not seeing these videos is desensitizing us. And, Wesley kind of gave a response about that. And while Wesley was responding, I couldn't help but notice Darrin's facial expressions. So I would love to hear your thoughts on that as well.
1 hour, I don't like the videos if you're going to show them once an hour. But with the videos, I mean, it's so much on World Star, TMZ. I refuse to post videos on my page because every day you see people posting videos of people committing crimes and everybody just sitting there cheering in the background. You see the people jumping each other on the bus. We're so used to seeing these that none of these is like, wow, did you see that? Nobody calling 911 these days. Everybody's trying to be World Star, TMZ. I saw a fire yesterday. A car was on fire in front of a gas station. I saw 12 people videoing. I called 911. Nobody's called and said this car was on fire.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, no, we didn't know. And I was like, wow, it's 12 people right there and they all filming. And we're just so used to wanting to be the first to go Facebook Live, to go whatever. These videos, everybody's wanting to film now. So it's like you see it so much, it doesn't even raise your eyebrow. And this is where my issue with us comes in. It's only an issue with us if somebody outside of us does it. As long as I'm jumping on you, nobody cares. If a white guy come in and hit you, then it's big news. And that's what it is. I mean,
I don't know if I agree with that because there are movements that are specifically working their tails off daily, feet on the ground in the black community to deal with, like in Chicago. I mean, we have movements and we see initiatives happening where they've got veterans that are on the streets of Chicago to deter some of the gang crime that's going on. So and
it's not working. Chicago got a bunch of killings.
And they are. But what I'm saying is the effort is being put there. They are voicing it as well, but this is what CNN is picking up.
Right.
This is what MSNBC is picking up. So I think it's unfair to say that we're not dealing with some of the other issues that are going on in the black community. There are people who are advocates for that, and then there are people who are advocates against police brutality.
Right.
And there are two totally different issues. And one is getting more publicity than the other.
Well, it just depends on what the cause is. But like I say, just as far as the videos, we see them. We really don't jump up in arms about them. Why don't we not post negative videos for a week? Why don't we just not post any negative videos for a week and see how that goes? And hey, let's double down. Let's post positive videos. There are lots of great things going on. And what do people say? When I post something positive on my page, nobody wants to talk. I post something negative, everybody's got something good. Everybody's wanted. It's 300 posts. And that's it. We just see them. It's like, that happened to somebody else the other day. This happened. I already seen it. My friend got robbed. My friend got shot. And we just don't even think twice about it anymore.
I agree as far as just the whole concept, especially the World Star phenomenon. Somebody get into a fight. That World Star, this and that. I agree. Those videos are very negative, reflective of our community.
Right.
But as far as the videos that we're seeing here the past 2 days, Michael Brown video, Tamir Rice, the security coverage, that's no doubt should be shown. And the reason that is the case is because we as a black community, because we're there, because we see it, those individuals who are living in those neighborhoods and those areas where it happens more often than somebody who lives in Buckhead, they see it every day with their own eyes. They don't need video to know that it happens. Other people who don't see this every day, other people who will go as far as to say, oh, y'all are just nagging, y'all are just talking, who don't believe it, and who will downright say it's not true. You have no right to say that, just shut up. They need to see it.
And what if you're the family? Do you need that over and over
I believe the family are
over and over and over and over.
I believe the families, if I'm not mistaken, now I can't speak for these two particular families the past 2 days, but in the past, I've heard interviews with families where they want the videos to be
Yeah,
out because they want people.
And I don't care if I'm showing. It's just why do we have to show them every 3 minutes?
Because people, sometimes it takes a lot of people to see something over and over and over again for them to really get involved.
Because you can't even say the N word on TV, but I can show people being killed. Balance that out. People will say, "Oh, the N word," but now I can show somebody being killed. I can't say the N word, but I can show somebody being shot. There's a huge disconnect there.
Well,
it's huge.
The N word has never sent somebody to the hospital or buried them.
But you won't even say it. You won't even say it. People will say the N word. Nobody will say, "Can I say this on radio?" Okay. Nobody will say the word. But I can show somebody being killed.
Well, I will actually go as far as to say that honestly, showing the video over and over again don't desensitize people. It actually bring a click the light bulb in people's mind, because honestly, one thing that I can say about my generation that I'm proud of is that when you look at this, what some people consider the modern day civil rights movement and that of Black Lives Matter, when you look at the history of the 50s and the 60s and Dr. King and Dr. Abernathy and Rosa Parks and all these legends who created the civil rights movement and did the marches and were out there on the front lines, when you look at those pictures and those videos, it's just mostly black people. Don't get me wrong, there were a few white people who were there, and we thank God for them that they had their courage and their strength. Yeah. But today, when you see the videos, when you see the social media posts, it's not just black people, it's white people, both old and young. And the reason I think that we have a plethora of our white counterparts who are right there behind us, which is a good thing, is because they see it. It's not something that they just heard about from a friend. It's not just something that they read about in a book. They are seeing it with their own eyes. Oh my goodness, look what happened to this black person.
Well, and to that point, Bloody Sunday was the turning point, one of the turning points, a major turning point in the civil rights movement, because it was shown police officers spraying the protesters, or I hate the word protesters, I really do, but I do, because it's been given such a negative connotation. Right. But police officers spraying innocent people, putting dogs on innocent people. When the world saw that, that's when the world jumped on board for the civil rights movement, and so the images. They play a role. We don't like them. It's not pretty. When that war showed what's happening, that's when people started protesting. Like, wait a minute, look what war is doing. But I have so much more to say. But we have to take a break. We've got to take breaks. So we will be right back. Stay tuned, and thanks.
You want to see who's in the network?
Don't be jealous, but I've been chatting online with babes all day.
Follow us on Instagram at Sensation Station Network. We're the nation's urban station. Radio, not dumbed down.
Hi, I'm Harold Dennis, and I'm running for the office of DeKalb County Sheriff. I believe that there is a brighter future for DeKalb County, and as your sheriff, I will take a tough stance against those who choose to violate our laws and remain actively involved in building a rapport with our youth, which will combat the increasingly violent crimes committed by their peers. This will increase the value of our community in which I was proudly born and raised, allow me the opportunity to continue my philosophy of public service and building a sound and responsive sheriff's office. Harold Dennis, vote for me November 8th for DeKalb County Sheriff. Then let's take DeKalb back. I'm Harold Dennis, and I approve this message.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
Well, you'll see what happens. Sensation Station Network.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I am Dr. Pamela, and I'm here with me today, retired Officer Darrin Bell. and Reverend Wesley Thompson. So we've got a lot of comments that I really want to acknowledge as we continue this conversation. Ninaji Jackson, the question that was asked is whether or not these videos are desensitizing us. And Ninaji is basically saying, let's be real. I mean, history desensitized the public, not showing these occurrences. So the fact that these things are actually happening is what we should be focusing on, as opposed to whether or not we're replaying what's happening. Benita Rainey says there were tons of college kids during the 60s, Caucasian kids in the 60s who participated in the freedom rides. Some even died in Mississippi. So that's to Wesley's point that it wasn't just black people who are, and it's not, it's just black people who are involved in this issue. And then we did have one question from Jennifer Glaze, and this was more so for Darrin. Would you mind reading that, Darrin?
What would my professional opinion direction be when confronted with an apparent overzealous cop? Would my directives change at all? What about an overzealous individual? Unfortunately, these videos of cases aren't even in the protection you would expect. Overzealous is a hard thing to deal with because you don't know why they are like they are. And I'm going to stick with the same thing anytime a cop pulls you over. I do it. I let my windows down. I grab my ID before the cop gets out the car, and then I put my hands on the steering wheel. It's just the easiest, and I cut my radio down. And I don't even listen to rap music like that. But make him feel as safe as I can make him feel. I don't know what he's come from, and this was one of my points. When I was a cop, I left the child murder scene. As soon as I'm leaving the child murder scene, it's hard seeing a dead kid. There's a car that runs a stop sign in front of me. They didn't get the most professional person. And then when they gave me the little instant feedback about what I could be doing, yeah, they got a really rude cop. But they don't know what I just came from. All they know is I put them over for a stop sign. So sometimes little comments can push us over the edge. You see a dead kid and somebody's giving you grief about what you could be doing. It's not. Am I overzealous? No, I was really unprofessional. Overzealous cops, hands on the steering wheel, windows down, music down. Give him what he asked for. Move on. Take the ticket, cut your cell phone on, record everything if you think he's going to do something wrong. Live the fight another day. But sitting there trying to argue with him, it's just not worth it. Call somebody, let them hear. I've been pulled over by cops who, when I saw them getting out of the car, I knew they had a bad attitude. I called somebody, put them on speakerphone, put the phone on my thing. I just didn't trust the situation.
So what you're saying reminds me a lot. It makes me think of Sandra Bland and how that situation went down. What are your thoughts on that and how that situation was handled and her conduct, the cops' conduct?
I didn't realize that was when I was doing my Facebook hiatus. Let me just say this about cops, people in general. Evil is evil. They're evil people. Some of them infiltrate the ranks. Some of them are cops, some of them are preachers, some of them are politicians. Some of them are just people that you don't expect. There's nothing you can do to combat evil once it shows up. Like I said, some of the things that have happened, yeah, they happen with cops, but realize we're not all the same. That's like me being a cop saying that because Brian Nichols, and I'll use him because he came up on one of my feeds, because Brian Nichols, a black man, killed a judge or whatever, I should treat all black people the same. Brian Nichols is not a representation of black people. 5 cops is not a representation of cops. 20 cops. Fulton County Sheriff's Department has 1,000 sheriffs. 1,000. APD has probably about 600. That's 1,600 cops. We're talking about something that 20 or 30 cops did. That's not, and when you go over this worldwide, we're talking about 1% of the population. You can't judge one cop, all cops because of one. That's no different than me judging all blacks because of one.
But are you saying that then there's not an issue within law enforcement that needs to be addressed widely?
There's an issue with training, but just like we need to be trained, the public needs to be trained. And not to go too far off, but it's like this whole OG thing. Back in the day, and I don't know how you guys are. I'm 51. I'm from the hood. You know why the police didn't come to the hood? Because those criminals patrolled the hood. You didn't have stuff happening to kids. You didn't have stuff happening to old people. This new era of people, we have a lack of respect for each other. When you know that there's a lack of respect amongst each other, when the cops come in, they're more afraid because you don't. If you'll shoot your mama, why would I? What's my protection?
Wow.
What's my protection? Wow. So that whole respect thing garners itself, and it makes cops a little more nervous. It makes them a little bit more gun happy because they see what we're doing to each other.
Ooh, okay, well, that's a lot, and we're gonna take a break. It's a lot, but we need to hear it. These are perspectives we need to hear. So we are going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to continue this conversation about black and blue and racial battle fatigue.
Now we come to the special feature of our program.
Sensation Station Network.
You want to see who's in the network?
Don't be jealous, but I've been chatting online with babes all day.
Follow us on Instagram at Sensation Station Network. We're the nation's urban station. Radio, not dumbed down.
I am an American soldier. I'm a warrior and a member of a team. I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values.
I will always place this first. I will never accept defeat. I will never accept defeat.
I will never quit. I will never leave a fallen comrade. I am disciplined.
I am disciplined. Physically and mentally tough.
Trained and proficient in my warrior tasks and drills.
I always maintain my arms, my equipment, and myself.
I am an expert and I am a professional.
I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the
enemies of the United States of America in close combat.
I am a guardian of freedom and the American way of life.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
There's strong, and there's Army strong. See what it takes at GoArmy.com.
I hate religion. Pretty shocking to hear coming from a pastor, huh? I'm Jasper. This is my wife, Alicia Williams. We would absolutely love to have you come and take a visit.
At the church, we're strictly about relationships. It's about deepening your walk with God. 4845 South Old Peachtree Road, Norcross, Georgia.
Or you can hit us online at www.thechurchinfo.org. Remember, at the church, it's about relationship, not religion.
Well, I finally did it. My student loan is totally paid off.
What? What about our plan to win the lottery and start living? You know, travel the world on matching yachts, wear enough jewelry to require a bodyguard, vacation on the French Riviera, and then buy it.
You know we're never going to win the lottery, right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs, the Georgia Society of CPAs, and the Ad Council.
Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of our United States. Most people know him as a man of great wisdom and vision. What many don't realize, however, is that when it came to finding late-model sedans at government auctions, or even looking up a zip code, Mr. Lincoln's wisdom was sadly lacking. In fact, the citizens of that day knew it best not to even ask. Fortunately, now there's firstgov.gov, the official place to turn when you need information about federal, state, and local government. Whether it's how to get a student loan, renew your passport, or even apply for a small business loan. All three of which, as numerous historians have noted, were remarkably absent from Lincoln's Gettysburg Address. So go to firstgov.gov. Who knows? If Abe had it in his day, he could have checked out an auction and traded that drafty log cabin for a nice condo on Maui. Firstgov.gov, a monumental source of useful information.
Primary elections.
Lack of diversity.
Gas prices.
My complex trending topics.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange, and today's show is all about what's trending, what's been going on, and the trending topics that I am sure that, you know, for those of you who are just joining us have already heard about, is the two cases in which black men have been shot by police officers in the last 48 hours. We have Alton Sterling, who was shot in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and Philando Castile. And when I say shot, it sounds like, somebody just shot him. This was multiple gun wounds. This was multiple shots that
overkill.
It was overkill. You know, it wasn't just they shot him in the ankle. We're talking over the top, unethical.
They're wrong. I'm gonna help you with
that.
They
were wrong. There we go. So those are the trending topics. That's what we're talking about today. And the one with Philando Castile was actually took place in Minnesota. And as we talked about earlier, his girlfriend live streamed what was happening, and that was actually, I think, a very wise move. We have technology nowadays, and we can kind of it basically alerted people in real time what was happening. So literally, as this thing was unfolding, she's got her Facebook friends, family being able to watch this unfold. She said, "Come get me. I'm on this corner. Come get me. This is what just happened." It's like being able to make a phone call to everybody on your friends list at one time. A safety measure I had never even thought about prior to now.
And and the more I watched that, and I kept looking at it, and like I said, I don't know why the officer was over there. I don't know, but my biggest issue with the whole thing is he never pulled him out the car to try to administer first aid. That's what bothered me more than the shooting. He never tried, and it's clear. If you do it and you see him, you still, from what she had on, she couldn't have much. But you never said, "Can you administer first aid? Let's get him out the car." Because right then, you got to do something different. And it's the craziest thing ever. You know what cops don't have to do? Legally, if I shoot you, I don't have to administer first aid. If I pepper spray you, I have to administer first aid.
Really?
That's the law.
Why? Wow.
That's in every policy. If you pepper spray somebody, I have to have water before I pepper spray you. If I shoot you, all I got to do is call for an ambulance.
Why? Wow.
And I can sit there and watch you bleed, and legally, that's my only responsibility. I don't have to administer any first aid.
Is it because of the risk of making the injury worse, or?
It's because we as people, when we vent about stuff, and education is knowledge. If you know what the process is, then you can change the process.
So we vent about the wrong stuff.
Right, because some things aren't changeable. So why don't police have to administer first aid? And I understand why in some instances. If there's an active shooting, you're right. Whoever gets shot is going to be there until somebody else gets here. Mm-hmm. But once the shooting stops, why is it we don't have to, but I have to if I pepper spray you? Why is it I got to administer first aid for pepper spray, but not if I shoot you?
Right.
Nobody addresses those, and that's what I'm saying. When you got legislators, you got even these community review groups. Why don't you change the policy? Because as an informed officer, I know what my responsibilities are. So when they were talking about the levels of force, you telling me if I'm afraid, if I pepper spray you, I'm not finna come near you. Mm-hmm. So you telling me forget the pepper spray because I don't want to administer first aid. I'm afraid of you. Might as well just shoot you and wait for the ambulance to get here. So you actually eliminated one of my options because if I'm afraid of you, why would I try to administer first aid?
Well, and he was clearly afraid. The police officer standing on the other side of that door was clearly afraid. Even after he shot.
No, I can't go for that. If you're afraid of something, you don't walk to it.
But what I'm saying is, or in whatever state of mind he was in.
He was afraid after he shot.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he shot because he was afraid. I'm saying he's still got this gun pointed at this man who's clearly incapacitated, and he's still got the gun pointed at him.
Let's not forget. Outside the mother or his girlfriend, I heard his family say, actually fiance, there's a 4-year-old girl in the back seat.
Right.
And this is where, if we're going to do officer safety, because kids are dangerous too, so are women.
A 4-year-old girl?
Please believe you've not been a cop where people hide guns, and these kids nowadays with grand theft auto, don't knock it till you read it. Like women didn't used to be violent. Now women are one of the most violent groups ever.
I have not seen a case in which a child in the back seat.
Because you're not a cop.
So you're telling me that a child in the back seat, this is common enough.
How many times have you heard of a child shooting their brother accidentally?
But this is common enough.
How many times have you heard of a child shooting another child accidentally?
Which means they have access to guns.
So that means they got access to guns.
In a police stop, it's common enough that a child has pulled a gun on an officer for there to be a policy.
You don't want it to be common. The fact that you know that it happens because people leave guns around kids. You have to think of his mindset. Now, I know there's a gun. I know that people leave guns around because we always hear about kids getting shot, and it ain't that easy to pull a trigger. So don't believe this accidental discharge. People let their kids play with guns. So when you're doing officer safety thing, I can't discount anybody because of their size. I'm sorry, because of anything. I gotta treat everybody the same. If there's a gun, everybody has access to it. Unless it's a little bitty baby that can't wrap around, everybody's gonna be treated like a criminal. There's only one person who is
What happened to innocent until proven guilty?
Nothing. When there's a gun, everybody's guilty when there's a gun. Everybody.
What happened?
Nobody's gotta go to jail.
Guilty. Okay, everybody's guilty when there's a gun. Mm-hmm. However,
no, not guilty. My safety is first. Until we secure this gun and I know where it is, the most important thing right then is for me to make it back home.
So what's the point of legal concealed carry? What is the point of having the right to carry a gun if automatically carrying a gun means that you can get killed just because you have one?
No. I ain't never saying about killing. I'm just saying until the gun is secure, I'm the only one who doesn't know where the gun is. So my first priority, what's your priority every day? To go back home. Right. Yes? My priority is no different. So if I pull up and you say you got a gun, and that's what I'm saying, the whole gun thing, that's a whole nother show.
We can talk about that when we come back.
Well, I'm just saying, They don't. That's super long. But you have to prioritize. Until we know what the gun is, nobody can be assumed to be a safe person. Nobody, because I don't know who may want to shoot me.
See, I get that. There's a big but.
Yeah.
And we'll do the big but when we come back. But we'll be right back.
You want to see who's in the network?
Don't be jealous that I've been chatting online with babes all day.
Follow us on Instagram at Sensation Station Network. We're the nation's urban station. Radio, not dumbed down.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
I hate religion. Pretty shocking to hear coming from a pastor, huh? I'm Jasper. This is my wife, Alicia Williams. We would absolutely love to have you come and take a visit.
At the church, we're strictly about relationships. It's about deepening your walk with God. 4845 South Old Peachtree Road, Norcross, Georgia.
Or you can hit us online at www.thechurchinfo.org. Remember, at the church, it's about relationship, not religion.
Time for a classic.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
Hey parents, finding it hard to communicate with kids in today's world of ever-changing slang?
Hi, son.
Excuse me?
Introducing the Communicizer. Just strap non-toxic Communicizer to your mouth and go from boring old man speak
I'm here if you want to talk.
to 100% off the chain.
Text me whenever, yo.
It's that easy.
Thanks to Communicizer, I'm relevant to my kids again. I'm fly, boo.
And now when you buy Communicizer, you get the auto-tune attachment free. Sounds so hip-hop, your kids will want to talk to you for hours.
I used to have to walk 3 miles uphill to school every morning, shorty.
I love you, Dad.
I love you too, son.
Communicizer is not available in stores because it doesn't exist. But that's okay. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Because kids in foster care don't need perfection. They need you. For more information on how you can adopt, go to adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Adopt Us Kids and the Ad Council.
Station Network. In the interest of science.
All right, so the first hour we talked about racial battle fatigue, and this hour it feels appropriate to talk about racial socialization. For those of you who aren't familiar with what racial socialization is, it's exactly what Darrin Bell was talking about earlier with regards to educating ourselves about how to respond in officer situations, how to respond basically as a person in the skin we're in. So racial socialization focuses particularly on your race and how your race is perceived and how your race is treated in the world. And it's a sad thing that we have to do this, but this is basically what we talk about a lot, and I have a lot of female friends who have sons, and I'm one of them, and so we talk often about how we have to educate our sons and the burden of having to teach our sons how they're perceived by police officers, by the public, by store owners, and to be very conscious and aware of that perception. My son, for example, clueless, go into a store and play around and put something under his coat playing around, and that's an instant lesson. Okay, stop. This is a life and death type of behavior, which, you're playing around, you just have to stop and have that conversation with your 10-year-old and say, this is why this is so much more deadly for you to do this than for the next kid to do this. Not to say that other people would not have deadly consequences, but there is the racial socialization is the idea that I need to educate my child about how to be black in America. I need to educate my child about how to be Latino in America. Whatever your race is and how that race is socially treated and accepted or not is that whole idea of racial socialization. Go ahead.
Or maybe we'll just call it good parenting. See, what you said was you want to be a parent and not his friend. How many times we seen this wild child and the parent doesn't do anything? Mm-hmm. And part of that plays into it. There's good parenting, and then there's wanting to be your kid's friend. You just said you were good parenting. I'm going to take color out the issue.
Well, the reason why color is in the issue because this is not the kind of conversations that white women have to have with their sons. They do not have to say, so you're a black man, when you're pulled over by a police officer, here are some of the things that you have to be extra cautious about. That's why the race part of it gets pulled into this.
Have you ever been pulled over by the cops?
I have.
Did you get shot?
I have.
It's not always about being shot.
I have done things. In fact, I tell you, as recent as...
Hold on now, what's the thing? I got to read you your rights, so I want you to say that.
No. I want you to say I want to say about March or April I got pulled over just because I was told I ran a red light on. Anyway, just it was night, and just out of what I've been taught, as Dr. Pamela says, the conversation she's had with her son, conversations I remember having with my parents and family members. Mm-hmm. It's funny, and now I'm thinking about this. I got pulled over. I immediately put my hands out the window.
So, he ain't been to my class.
So no steering wheel. My hands to be free. And when the officer came up, and it happened to be a white officer, came up, I found myself immediately, because the first question was, did you know you ran a stop line? I said no. Anyway, second question was, I have an Alabama license plate. Of course, you're supposed to have a Georgia license plate if your residence here, but in school, but I immediately found myself explaining myself, trying to justify, I am a black man, but let me let you know what kind of black man I am. So I said I'm in school. Mm-hmm. I've just wrapped up my master's degree, about to start my doctorate degree at such and such university, studying such and such. And he didn't ask all that, but I volunteered that information. Mm-hmm. You know why I volunteered it? Because I wanted my blackness to be justified by my education, and I didn't want to be perceived as
a stereotype.
As a stereotype.
Right, yeah.
And I shouldn't have to do that. And even though I volunteered it, the fact that I felt like I had to in order to not be perceived as,
a thug.
A thug.
I'll just say it.
It's not right. And once again, as Dr. Pamela said, I don't think other ethnicities have to feel led to do that when they're pulled over.
Go ahead.
I was sitting in a Barnes & Noble, and I'm a writer, so I'm writing a book, and behind me is a white man and a white woman, and he's telling her a situation in which he got a DUI the night before. And mind you, he's sitting right next to me. So he's not in jail. He got a DUI the night before. So he tells me, or he tells her, I got pulled over, and the cop gave me, this information. He told me the judge that's going to be administering the case, and he told me this, and he told me this, and he told me this. The man picks up the phone, and he's, yes, Judge so-and-so, please. Gets Judge so-and-so on the phone and says, you know what, you wouldn't believe what just happened to me last night. What a bummer, blah, 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 blah. And, yep, I've got a case on Monday, so I hear you're going to be a part of it. I would. Yes, I would appreciate it. Okay, thanks, buddy. All right, bye-bye. Really? Like how? And that's also has to do with social capital and having those kinds of connections. But at no point did he talk about how fearful he was, or there was none of this apprehension that we talk about having. I mean, if I see a police officer pull up behind me, my whole body chemistry changes. I'm short of breath. I'm sweating. I'm scared to death. And I've never had an encounter that was negative with a police officer, but but there's a fear because I know what can happen.
And I get that. But And I challenge some of my friends to do this. Ask all your friends who've been put over by the cop. Ask them how many been shot, how many been this. We don't know that many people. We hear stuff, and I just want the generalizations to stop. Because it's not a generalization. What you did, even though you was committing 2 crimes, you didn't get shot, you didn't get beat up or nothing. And that's my whole point. Most of us don't know this experience. But we hear somebody else and we want to run with that. Some of us should be afraid because we know we do things that are suspect. We hang around suspect people because we want to be cool.
But there are so many of us who are afraid who shouldn't be afraid.
You're right. Most of us shouldn't be, but we run off somebody else's experience. But if you ask most of the people you know, most of the people you know can't tell you this. But most of the people you know can tell you they've been robbed. More people can tell you they've been robbed than they've been harassed by the police. If you reach out, if we reach out in pure statistics, we can.
Well, going off these generalizations, okay, because I got something to say about that as far as generalization, as far as the, police brutality and black-on-black crime.
So we'll hold it.
Okay.
And we're going to come back. We're going to address that when we get back on the live exchange.
You want to see who's in the network?
Don't be jealous that I've been chatting online with Babe all day.
Follow us on Instagram at Sensation Station Network. We're the nation's urban station. Radio, not dumbed down.
Hi, I'm Harold Dennis, and I'm running for the office of DeKalb County Sheriff. I believe that there is a brighter future for DeKalb County, and as your sheriff, I will take a tough stance against those who choose to violate our laws and remain actively involved in building a rapport with our youth, which will combat the increasingly violent crimes committed by their peers. This will increase the value of our community in which I was proudly born and raised, allow me the opportunity to continue my philosophy of public service and building a sound and responsive sheriff's office. Harold Dennis, vote for me November 8th for DeKalb County Sheriff. Then let's take DeKalb back. I'm Harold Dennis, and I approve this message.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
Did you know volunteering can be fun? Community service is for everyone. Young people, families, men, women. As a volunteer, you'll help your community and gain valuable skills. Network with others. Energize your life. Make an impact and have fun. Get in step with your community. Volunteer. Visit www.lionsclubs.org.
Letting the rhythm move you and groove you.
Get in the groove now.
More music now on It's Sensation Station Network. Sensation Station Network.
All right, welcome back to the live exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and today we are talking black and blue, and we're looking at some of the different issues that have been happening lately with regards to police killings of black men. I have here today with me Darrin Bell, who is a retired officer, and I also have Reverend Wesley Thompson, and very interesting perspectives on both sides of this issue. I see a lot of active engagement on Facebook Live. If you have any questions you'd like to call in and ask these guys questions live, give us a call, 678-613-5857. That number again is 678-613-5857. And before we went to break, Wesley had something burning that he had to say.
No, just because Darrin said something about generalization. I'm not sure if he's speaking specifically to this, but I know there's this idea that, why are we concerned about police brutality and police officers killing black people and black people kill black people, other black people every day, all the time, which, don't get me wrong, there's concern there, but we should still highlight the fact that there are police who are, of course,
rogues,
okay, got you, and I respect that, who are killing these black men, these black women, and of course there's video evidence right there for us to see. And the reason I believe that should be highlighted because there's a distinct difference. As a police officer who happen to be rogue, not you, of course, but you know those that are out there. When they took that oath, they gave themselves and put on themselves a higher responsibility and this higher standard.
True.
So when something like this happens, and it happens multiple times, because they are held to a higher standard, yes, it should be highlighted. Just like myself as a pastor, when I accepted my calling to the ministry, when I became ordained, I put myself to a higher standard, and I expect if I was to fall or do something wrong, I expect my title as a pastor to be attached along with that.
Right, your call should be greater.
Exactly. So somebody just an ordinary person go out and assault a person, the newspaper and internet headlines going to say 27-year-old man assaults such and such. Whereas if I did it,
right,
I expect 27-year-old pastor of such and such church, black pastor
right,
of such and such church, so it kind of that's why I make the distinction as far as I do agree we should be concerned about the black on black crime, and as Dr. Pamela alluded to, there's a lot of footwork being done to address that. It's just not highlighted as much as I think, but this
it goes into education. But please believe, there's nothing worse than a road cop. And when people call me and ask me, I've done cases. Understand what you can and cannot do. And it's so crazy. People say, "Oh, he was scared." There's nowhere in the country can a cop shoot somebody because he's afraid. It's not in anything you'll ever learn.
But
you too can shoot people because you're afraid. If I'm scared right now, I have to go through a series of events before I can pull my gun. I cannot use fear as the only factor. Right. I have to be able to say why I'm in fear. There has to be a clear present danger to one of the three of us before I can even shoot.
Which is why I said earlier, one of the cops who shot Alton Sterling yelled, "He's got a gun!" And to me, that was justification. That was their way of saying
it doesn't give you the right.
Right, it doesn't. But to me, that was a play. It was a way of saying, I said he had a gun. Well, he had, which again is irrelevant because they were called. Because
it's relevant. It's part of the sequence of events. But just because you've got a gun, don't mean I can shoot you.
But it was the reason why they were called to the scene.
So that wasn't a mystery.
It shouldn't have been a surprise. As you mentioned earlier, there was a certain level of certain steps that should have been taken to disarm somebody who they were called to.
About a gun.
About a gun.
Right. So that should have been expected. Which is why their approach should have been different.
Right.
And that's why I said, from the moment of their approach, everything they did by the standards that we teach was wrong. Everything was wrong. So, and it's hard for me to get into how they even got there. The one in Minnesota, because I'm not sure, I can tell you with the little snippets I saw, and I don't want to judge them yet. If it was for a broken tail light, why are you talking to the passenger of the vehicle?
Right.
And I'm lost on how you got there.
Yes. And another question I have, and we have some questions on Facebook.
You better get to the 90.
So I want to make sure we get to these questions on Facebook too. But the other question I have is, okay, not only why was the officer on the passenger side for a taillight, and why was he asking him to give his information, but also why was the fiance, the girlfriend, handcuffed after she was taken out of? So he shoots the man, the guy's sitting there dying four times. He's laying there dying, and the guy still has the gun pointed at him. The girlfriend's asked to get out of the car. She gets out of the car. She's handcuffed. There's a 4-year-old in the back seat, so the 4-year-old is in the hands of another officer. What in the world is going on there? Is this following procedure?
Well, see, and that's the hard part. Without seeing the whole video, I can defend why he's on that side, because we'll tell officers, don't go to the side of traffic.
Okay.
Because there's just too many things go wrong. So I can understand why he was on that side of the car. I just can't understand why he was talking to that guy.
And
with the handcuffing, part of what we teach everybody is when you got multiple people, and we'll call them all suspects because right now she broke a law, so we'll call this, for real purposes, a crime scene.
The tail light being the law.
So it is against the law. And if you feel that threat, anybody you pull out, you handcuff everybody. That way you can put your gun away. Because if too many people can move, there's a chance you can get jumped. So I'll give him that for officer safety. I'll give him that. That's just one that's not even worth arguing. Anytime you're outnumbered, start handcuff people. If you're nervous, you feel need to pull them out the car, handcuff them. Tell them what you're doing, why you're doing it.
The child too?
If the child is big enough to be handcuffed, yes. Anybody that's a threat, you handcuff them. And as I was telling him, that cuts down on you showing preferential treatment to anybody. If I pull him out and handcuff you, he can't say I handcuff you because you was a girl. You can't say I handcuff him because he was a guy. Just handcuff everybody, because the policy doesn't say only handcuff those that you think are. It tells you to handcuff everybody. That way there's consistency across the board.
Wow.
And it's easier to explain, because now there's do you handcuff white women? Only time you Only time you deviate from the handcuffing policy is if she's pregnant, because then you put her in a stressful situation.
Mm-hmm.
Most policies say that. Deal with pregnant women different than you deal with other women.
Okay.
Other than that, treat everybody the same.
Okay, and then and you also mentioned that everything that happened, and maybe let's get to the Facebook thing first, because I'm going to go in a whole different direction. But
let's get to Naji. So we
okay, go ahead and address Naji's question.
Naji, what is being done to emotionally and psychologically screen officers before selection for the force? Even as an educator, I had to prove my commitment to diversity and my understanding of it before I was hired. Why does it appear these officers are not held to the same scrutiny? Well, they are. It's a test. People tell you you're going to get the test. Nobody walks into the office and say, hey, I'm crazy, I'm here to kill people. And that's why people, when people say this, nobody does it. I mean, if you look at some of the world's greatest serial killers, they were great people person. That's how they got close to people. So these tests to me are highly overrated. Most agencies change the requirements. They want you to have a college degree because they want to pay you more money, which actually became a bigger problem because nothing against college people. A lot of them don't have the same street sense as the non-college people, so they don't know how to deal with some stressful situations because they know a lot about books, which is why the training process, role playing to me is such an important factor. Even if you know what's going on, you can handle the first 10 or 15 minutes because you know we role playing. But as it goes on, the stress becomes a little bit more, the truer you comes out. The test is all the psychological tests are controlled environments. I'm going to sit there, I'm going to put my feet down, I'm going to get a beat in my head, everything they ask me, I know what I'm supposed to say.
Right.
Sir, have you ever thought about killing people? Of course not. Would you kill people? Of course not. Would you harm somebody who is less fortunate? Of course not. Who says yes to that? Nobody. So that part of the test to me is just, it's such a waste of time and money. Because nobody's going to come in there and say, you know what? I like little boys, and as soon as I get a chance, that's what I'm going to do. Nobody says that.
Right.
But we put too much emphasis on these when they actually have no bearing on them. If you're going to do it, you might as well show me a bunch of pictures of little kids and put me to the machine like you do pedophiles and see if there's a physical reaction.
Oh, wow.
But just to ask me a question, I can control what you see. And there's just too much emphasis put on those. That's why we got, nothing against you, we got bad preachers. It's the same process.
Right.
No pastor or preacher ever says, hey, I'm a pedophile or I like this. Or I'm just here to have sex with women in the front row.
Right.
It's just not, it's just too much, people put too much emphasis on that.
Those are usually the elders, the
right,
mothers.
But,
we don't have to not the mothers of the church. No, but so to look at some of the comments that have been stated, I think Naji has another really good point. She says, how many modern lynchings will occur before this stops? Don't minimize the seriousness of race in this factor in deaths by police officers. And that's one thing that's frustrating for me is when we try to minimize race. Like, I mean, race is a factor. It is a factor.
It is. You can't get, but and I'm gonna tell you why it's so funny. Because you know what they don't want cops to say? They don't want cops to say they're using race as a factor for anything they do. I can't say that 3 white kids in pair of homes is suspicious. I can't say that, but it is suspicious. But I can't use that as a factor. But that is so why are they here? But they don't want you to use those words, so they make you use other words. But everything we do is based on race.
But it's not even from the perspective of the police officers. I mean, in everyday conversations that we have, that phrase always comes up, why do we have to throw race into it? Well, you know what? We didn't throw race into it. Race has been built into everything.
But that's an American thing. You ever been overseas?
It is. It's an American thing.
When you go overseas, nobody asks you what color you are. They ask you what your religion is.
Yeah.
Nobody asks you if you're black or white.
Well, and before we continue, we're going to go ahead and get into the balance challenge for this week, and then we'll keep going with this conversation.
Keeping your balance with Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela.
Okay, so in the first hour, I issued a balance challenge with regards to the racial battle fatigue, and basically racial battle fatigue is really just that feeling of exhaustion. It's that physiological response to dealing with racism on an ongoing basis, to have attacks against your race, and to just experience that exhaustion as a result. So my challenge that I gave in the first hour was to make sure you're doing things that are going to take care of yourself. Make sure that you are strengthening yourself, strengthening your mind, educating your mind, but also relaxing your mind, so that when it does come time to battle, when it does come time to stand up and have these conversations or push for legislation, we can do so in a healthy way, with sound minds, with strong bodies. My other challenge for you, Darrin brought up earlier that that there are laws in place that are not consistent or contradictory. For example, a police officer can do CPR on somebody who has been tased, but not on somebody who has been shot. Well, there's a little bit of inconsistency there. So the challenge that I have is for us to educate ourselves. Let's look at these policies. Let's look at where the inconsistencies are in the policies with regards to officer, being pulled over, with regards to shootings, with regards to confrontational situations. What are those policies? So I want us to get an understanding what those policies are. Let's outline those policies. Let's analyze those policies, and let's challenge those policies. Sometimes, as Darrin said, we're up in an uproar about the wrong things. There are some hidden issues under the surface that deal with legislation that we aren't addressing. Let's try to look at those things more closely and address those. That's your challenge for this week.
Want to see who's in the network?
Don't be jealous that I've been chatting online with babes all day.
Follow us on Instagram at Sensation Station Network. We're the nation's urban station. Radio, not dumbed down.
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win a Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
Former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
At the end of my 6th year, I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, get to the playoffs, but get knocked out again. And for the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? But I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it, and it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ, and He guide us to that ultimate victory. I'm Tony Dungy, and I am second.
I hate religion. Pretty shocking to hear coming from a pastor, huh? I'm Jasper. This is my wife, Alicia Williams. We would absolutely love to have you come and take a visit.
At the church, we're strictly about relationships. It's about deepening your walk with God. 4845 South Old Peachtree Road, Norcross, Georgia.
Or you can hit us online at www.thechurchinfo.org. Remember, at the church, it's about relationship, not religion.
Hi, I'm Harold Dennis, and I'm running for the office of DeKalb County Sheriff. I believe that there is a brighter future for DeKalb County, and as your sheriff, I will take a tough stance against those who choose to violate our laws and remain actively involved in building a rapport with our youth, which will combat the increasingly violent crimes committed by their peers. This will increase the value of our community in which I was proudly born and raised. Allow me the opportunity to continue my philosophy of public service and building a sound and responsive sheriff's office. Harold Dennis. Vote for me November 8th for DeKalb County Sheriff. Then let's take DeKalb back. I'm Harold Dennis, and I approve this message.
Vince Lombardi once said that it's hard to be aggressive when you're confused. Some of us think that taking our lives to the next level, both personally and professionally, is a confusing and complicated process. Guess what? It's not, and I can prove it. My book, Truisms, will show you how living your life by rules that are so self-evident and obvious, you'll say, I knew that. This powerful yet short, detailed bestseller is on sale right now, under $10. Go to MichaelMcFadden.com. That's MichaelMcFadden.com, and let Truisms help you to the next level.
Green light. Hey girl. School zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ball in street? Girl in street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Enlightening your senses and stimulating your mind, body, and soul. You're listening to Sensation Station Network, the total body experience. Sensation Station Network.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and we are talking about police brutality and the shooting, specifically the latest of Alton Sterling and Philando Castile. And you know what gives me chills? Because nobody thinks that their name is going to be the next headline. You know, this time yesterday, Philando Castile had no idea. He's talking about, I'm sure he was talking about Alton Sterling. Yep. And who knew he was going to be next? Chills. So, but I wanted to give you all just some of what's happening on Facebook and what some people are saying. LaShawn Barnes says, although most of us don't experience these, we have to be educated about what to do as a black person when you're pulled over or when stopped by the police. Stop making this seem like such a small percentile. I think she's talking to you, Darrin. Just because only a small percentage is discussed in the media doesn't mean it's not happening in smaller scales. And I had somebody say, you know, this morning, the shootings are starting again. The shootings are starting again. And my thing is, when did they stop?
They never stop.
When they stop. But I'll let you respond to what LaShawn said.
I'm not making light of it, because please believe me, this is what most people understand. This is what I do for a living, so I actually know the numbers better than you, because I know what I come against at work. You know what the media tells you, and this is one of the funniest things I ever hear. People complain about what the media, they only tell you this, they only tell you that, but then the next thing you want to do is you want to quote another media outlet. Well, ask somebody who does it for a living. Ask us what we see. Don't just hear the filtered stories. Don't listen to the heads who tell you the filtered stories. Everybody knows some cops. I swear you do. As opposed to judging me, just sit down one day and ask me how my day goes sometimes. We're not filtering. We're not making light of how many. I pull over white people. They're the rudest. They'll tell you I give them tickets. If they say the wrong thing, they'll go to jail. But you know what they don't do? They won't go to Facebook and say, oh, I got locked up. He could have been doing this. He could have been doing that. And that's the huge difference. White people commit crime. They do the crazy stuff. But you know what a white parent does before she calls me to arrest her son? She enrolls him in a rehab center. Takes it all out of my hands. Takes it out of the court system hand. That's the difference. They do just as much crazy stuff. So it's not that we're making light of it or confusing the numbers. But I've never had a white guy say some of the rudest things that black people have said to me, because I'm from Bankhead. What does that have to do with you breaking the law? My man said he gave a whole soliloquy on who he was to make him feel comfortable and the officer feel comfortable.
If we do that.
But he didn't. I pulled a guy with a kid in the back window of the car. In the back window, laying there.
Wow.
When he rolled the window down, nothing but weed smoke came out. You know why I pulled him over? Bad cop. I just wanted him to put the kid on the seatbelt. I didn't want to write him a ticket. I didn't want to do nothing other than, dude, if you don't want to put your seatbelt on, I don't care. You're grown. The little boy doesn't know better. Put him in. But now I got all this weed smoke coming. So you smoking weed with this little boy in the car, and you want to ask me why I pulled you over. What do? Dude, he's got a mama. Call his mama, because everybody ain't going home in this car. We do stuff, and it's so much more of it, and I don't want to make light of it. The numbers are crazy. If there's 5 bad cops, that's a crazy thing. I want them out. But to just randomly say all cops are bad or this is what all cops do, that's why I issue everybody a challenge. Put on your page. How many of y'all have ever been stopped by the cops? How many of you been killed? How many of you been shot? How many of you been cursed out? How many of you been stabbed? Then look at your numbers for what you truly know. Don't let the media tell you that, yeah, this is an epidemic, but not in true epidemic proportions.
But it's still something that needs to be addressed.
It needs to be addressed.
Absolutely.
But we need to know the right measures. Like when we sit here and talk about what can you change? Well, I was just saying, you can change the supervisors. Quit firing officers that do bad. Somebody's over them. These officers with 20, 30 complaints, somebody sees them and they're not doing their job. So when you concentrate on the source, it's no different than a bad kid. At some point, you have to attack the parent for not training the kid.
Right. Absolutely.
Fix the supervisors. That's if the same problems in the same agency over and over and over again, but you keep firing line officers, have you ever got rid of the police chief? Have you ever got rid of the captains? That's the problem. It's not the guy who doesn't know he's doing wrong because nobody's ever told him. Every time he get a complaint, oh, don't worry about it, we got you this time. It's the person who's perpetuating.
He knows. But I hear your point. In we get outraged about the wrong things, and we get outraged with the outcome, and we haven't dug into what's the root of that. And I totally agree that we need to do that. We have another comment here from Brooklyn Phoenix Rising. If you know him, if you look at the video, they were not on the passenger side; they were on the driver's side. When the camera turns to point the camera at the officer, you will see the steering wheel. It's just a camera illusion.
Okay.
So now I got to see this again.
Yeah, but it still doesn't explain 4 shots.
No.
And even to the point of, and I'll address this quick, if there's a gun in the vehicle, and I'm a cop, and I do have a gun in my car, and when cops pull up, I never mention that gun unless they ask me about it, because it just puts it. There's no law that says I'm supposed to tell you I got a gun.
I thought you did. I thought
Right,
you did have
you
to.
thought.
See,
But
that's
it's
good
not
information.
anywhere.
I did not know that.
It's not, unless you're finna pull me out of the car, then I'm going to tell you, because 9 times out of 10, it's on me. But if you want my license, which is right here, or something else, which is right there, I'm not even finna bring it, because it's only going to make you nervous.
See, but that goes back to how we, as, black men or black people feel when we get pulled over, because in his mind, and of course I'm not speaking for him, I can't now for sure, he's probably thinking, well, he may have I don't have to tell him, but he's probably thinking, if this cop happened to see this gun, he about to whoop my tail, or he about to drag me from all up the road, or this and that. And he probably thought it was safer to let him know that I have a gun, which...
You would think that it would be safer to do
you're
that.
You're right, but that's because you're not cops. The last thing, it's just like when they tell you to sit the gun on the seat. No, if that gun's on the seat, you know what that mean? That mean whichever one is the quickest can get to it. I don't want to see a gun. As soon as I see a gun, I'm in straight sweat mode, because now I don't want my gun in the holster. You got your gun right there where you can reach it. Mine is in the holster with a snap. I need to pull mine out now. So and that's part of the and I try to change the training process on this. We all talk about what the law says with these guns, yada yada yada. The law clearly says that you can carry a gun openly, which is the dumbest law ever. Because technically, if you walk down a non-crowded street in a subdivision, you can have a gun in your hand. Try it and see what's going to happen. Try it.
Somebody brought one to our house yesterday morning.
So
I seen a guy walk down the street, a white guy at a festival,
But now the festival, it's illegal. I don't care what kind of permit you got.
No, he just had it in his hand, walking around like.
But
kids.
Part of the basic law says as long as you don't carry concealed, you don't need a permit. But you still can't carry it in public gatherings. That's a lie. And people don't read the whole law. They just pick and choose the portions that they want. But the thing is, why would I? Anybody who has a gun in my world should have it hidden, because as soon as I see it, we all on different levels of alert. Because now I feel need to have mine a little closer. As a cop, I definitely feel need to have it closer. And we go through this, and this is once again part of the training. Do I really want to see a gun? When people come to your church, do you want to see the gun?
No.
Nobody wants to see it. But as a member of a church, you want some guns to be there just in case. But you don't want to see them unless there's a uniform accompanying it. That's just human nature. I'm not saying don't tell cops you got a gun. I'm just saying there's no reason to start broadcasting, especially if you know, and we know who we are. If you know you fit a description, some things just need to be asked.
One thing that Nainaji just pointed out, and it was a thought that I had as well, is she's saying nobody's arguing that all cops are bad, and I agree. We're arguing that there is a systematic problem in law enforcement nationwide. The culture of law enforcement is evil, and let's see. She's asking that to address that because it's clear that you're on an outlier in the police population. Admit that white cops give black cops problems in the force nationwide, and that it also occurs with white cops and non-white citizens. Admit that the system needs to correct itself.
Well, Nanaja, unless you know something that I can't admit that. I'm going to stick to the fact that good cops are good cops. Bad cops will not do stuff in the presence of good cops. You know what we learned? Once again, this goes to training. The law says if I'm there when you do something illegal, as a cop, I'm just as culpable, which means you can take my house, you can take So we certain conversations. I click with those like me. That's how society occurs. So the other good officers who like stuff, that's who will click to my circle. So we don't have these conversations that people think we having. I ain't never sat down with nobody who started talking about, oh yeah, I'm gonna raid this house and beat these people up. I got my suspicions of who they are, but they've never said anything around me. And until somebody can confirm it, I can't, because it just doesn't happen. We got kids, they curse. How many of our kids curse around us? They don't, because we're not the group they're going to curse around.
But we know.
But we know.
We know what they do with them when they're with their friends.
If we had to prove it, what words your son said? We know what we think they say. We think they say the common words. Mm-hmm. But we don't know what they do because they don't do it in front of us.
Lack of respect for authority in the black community, and we're teaching kids to hate police. It just cut out. But
when stopped by the police, keep a level of professionalism and keep the situation calm, and you will live to see another day.
Well, that's what we're told, and that's not always what happens. But I agree that we definitely don't want to teach kids to hate police. I don't know that that's something that's happening broadly. No.
And it is, and I'll tell you why. In our day, well, I'm a little older than y'all. In our day, we had officer friendly. When I'm somewhere and a parent brings their child up to me and say, oh, if you don't do this, he's going to lock you up, you're teaching your kids to hate me at a young age. We were never taught that at our age. We were taught if something happens, go find this guy. So you're making cops be a little bit more defensive. Just like when I was telling you the story about the kid that kicked me while I'm just walking with my mother. This little boy just walked up to me and kicked me with some steel-toe boots on. Oh, my God, it hurt so bad. Because he sees me. His mama ain't saying, oh, I called the police for him to lock your dad up. He just know I'm the guy that locked his dad up.
But does that anecdotal story mean that it is widespread that we are teaching our kids to hate police?
If a little boy kicked me because he thinks that I'm the one who locked his dad up for no reason, what do you think he thinks about all cops?
I think that kid was probably taught to hate police. But exactly. I challenge the idea that all kids, or that as a culture, we are teaching kids to hate police.
Watch the videos of people who start talking about, and what they say, kill cops, I can't stand them. But your grandparent is going to call up somebody to break the house. She's not going to call you. It is a widespread thing, and that's what people don't want to accept from our end, which is why we become a whole lot more defensive a lot of times. Well, because we see this, that people always want to say something negative. You sitting there eating at the Waffle House, and everybody want to just walk by and say, F you, you ain't this. You don't even know me. So it is a little bit more widespread.
I wouldn't call it widespread. I do admit that it exists, but I think at the root of all of this, in fact, someone just used that word, systemic. At the root of it all is that until we can get to where we as black people feel like we matter. Going back to Black Lives Matter, because the whole Black Lives Matter, I know there's some controversy behind that. Some people like it, some people don't talk about black people. But to me, how I view Black Lives Matter is not just when it comes to police killings or killings at all. Black Lives Matter when it comes to our education. Black Lives Matter when it comes to our socioeconomic disadvantages. Black Lives Matter when it comes to us having fair health care. So until we can really, if we just continue in this cycle where it kind of goes back to the whole idea, as soon as you're born into this world as a black person, you're at a disadvantage to everybody else. Until we can, and I know we've been talking about this for decades, be on that equal ground to where we all start at the same place. Everything, including, how people feel about police, it's just going to be this circle going on until something can change.
Wesley, you from Alabama. What made you come up? What made you not follow the same path most of your friends follow? Doc, you're black.
Well, that's why I'm arguing this point, because I was not raised to hate the police or to not trust the police. So that was not part of the circles I was raised in. That's not, when I look at my broader family, that's not us. When I look at my broader connections, that's not. So when we see one kid kick you, to me that doesn't tell me that, if we want to go with anecdotal information, my anecdotal stories are very different from yours.
Right.
But we're at the end of the show. So we have to give this a hard stop. I know. We have to give this a hard stop. But I would definitely love to have you two back so we can continue this conversation. There are other things that came up during the break that we didn't get to discuss. But those of you on Facebook Live, I see you have a lot to say. We are going to continue this conversation on Facebook Live all day today on this post. So if you have comments, Darrin will respond, Wesley will respond, I will respond, and we can keep this conversation going. We need to keep this conversation going. So thank you again for joining us. Thank you for joining me today, Darrin and Wesley. And thanks for listening and watching the live exchange where we look at love, politics, and intellect. Have an excellent week.
Time to bring it back.
Awesome mix of Reverend.
This is an awesome mix.
You want to see who's in the network?
Don't be jealous that I've been chatting online with babes all day.
Follow us on Instagram at Sensation Station Network. We're the nation's urban station. Radio, not dumbed down.
Sometimes I don't believe it. Sometimes I don't believe it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah. Started once again, boys, and they like me. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I just can't believe it's love for me. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Why do you do it? Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Don't talk to him. When I think of the goodness, I can't help myself. I lose all control and I gotta tell someone else. And I'll be here all day if I really got into it. So I'ma just tell you like this, yeah. He's mine. Right in the dark. Right in this spot. He's mine. Yeah, a million feet tall. And look at God. He's mine. Don't get me wrong, I've been there. These problems get real. But every time it gets hard, I be like, oh my God. Yeah, started once again, boys, and they like me. Yeah, oh my God. Yeah, I just can't believe it's love for me. Yeah, oh my God. Yeah, why do you do it? Yeah, oh yeah, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I know you love me. Yes, you do. I know you care for me. Yes, you do. Show me every day. Yes, you do. Man, I'm telling you, I'm so grateful. Gotta give you your credit. Ain't nobody else did it. Nobody. Yeah. Who would ever thought that I'd end up with a love like this? Love like this. Yeah. Who would ever thought that the Savior would be on me like this? So I stay close to that goal. Once I reach some more, and ain't I mean I can feel it like, oh, look at it, eyes like, oh my God, oh my God. Yeah. Started once again, boys, and they like me. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I just can't believe it's love for me. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Why do you do it? Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Down top to him. Oh, I remember. Only time I prayed was, Lord, let me get away with it. Let me get away with it. Oh, I remember. How many times have you gonna have grace on this sinner? Yeah. Wait now. Can I tell y'all why I came now? Can I tell y'all how I'm changed now? Can I tell y'all I ain't the same now? I got homies on blocks with they on it. I'm whipping that codeine with soda. It don't matter how far I'm going. Just know that I always pray for you. Somebody did that for me. Somebody did that for me. I'm not supposed to be here, but I am, cause the Lord, He had mercy on me. You gotta believe it. That's why I live life to the fullest. So yes, I live life to the fullest. And I will never take credit for His blessing to a saint from a sinner, so it's oh my God. Let me take you back to the beginning of it all. When He spoke, yeah, all it took was a word. And even back then He knew my name. Ask me how, can't explain. But if you knew what I knew, then you say, oh my God. Yeah, started once again, boys, and they like me. Yeah, oh my God. Yeah, I just can't believe it's love for me. Yeah, oh my God. Yeah. Why do you do it? Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Was a letdown. Heard you still back and forth with your ex now. And plus I heard the car you drive, it was in your mom days. When I met you, that was when the drama came. Different chicks calling out and giving all the game. Oh no, I guess I saw something in you, I was wrong. And you broke my heart, ain't felt loving so long. Got me looking at every different life. Like I can't trust nobody no
Always a problem with you and I hate it. It's hard to deal with. Worried about who I deal with, who I be making my deals with. Always complaining, hitting up a now for a piece of change. I had my eyes on a piece of change. Would choose you, but you're not working on a nigga brain. Then you train when you start a fame. Now we argue like every 24, Guess your heart filled with the cold and the snow. We got bad with the flow, bad with the flow. I wish things could be like way back before. It's a slim chance I'ma stick around, but I was the one.